Not only has money now rotated over the last few days into the Nasdaq, but also crypto. I mean, not so much the altcoins, but Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is like their first test case in a long, long time, right? Their first banking crisis since the inception of Bitcoin. And you've absolutely seen a huge amount of money roll over into cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that's fascinating. You think about the reasoning behind the creation of Bitcoin, and here we are. I mean, this is just one of those use cases for it, and I think it adds credence. I'm still not in the camp where I think that necessarily the lows are all the way in on Bitcoin or Ethereum, but you can't deny that this just strengthens the case long term for why we need Bitcoin. Yeah, so short term, it's looking likely that we could retest this 28,500 area right here, which again, interestingly enough, it was your lowest point from 2021's midpoint of that cycle, that bull cycle. And it's also this low of the consolidation right here. So that's my short-term resistance right around 28.5, 28.6. If we can pierce that, then we go right to that even number of 30,000, which was right above it right here. So I'm in the camp where if we get there in the next few days, let's say by Tuesday or so, I will be actually looking to short.
Bitcoin keeps going up and finally seems to be closing around the 26,000 or 27,000 level. According to some predictions, if that happens, that may sign the beginning of the next bull run. But for some other experts like Gareth Soloway from InTheMoneyStocks.com and VerifiedInvestingCrypto.com, there's a reason behind this rally that may change soon and make Bitcoin go down again. In this video, Gareth will explain his reasoning why he's probably shorting Bitcoin soon and giving that trade to his students. So please stay until the end to guarantee you're prepared for both scenarios. First, let's have a look at what's happening with the Federal Reserve and why that may be giving life to Bitcoin again.
I think the big question is, as we're coming into this Wednesday's Fed decision, is what's the Fed going to say? What are they going to do? I'm in the camp for a 25 basis point hike. I think that considering less than 2 weeks ago, Jerome Powell was mentioning he might have to do 50 basis points. I can't imagine them going to zero unless the banking situation deteriorates so much more than it already has. So I'm in the camp for 25, and then I think they'll actually calm the markets by saying, hey, we're going to wait a while here. Let's see what happens, and we're going to stop the rate hikes after this one.
And as we know, banks are breaking in the US and Europe.
I do think it is a breakage. It is kind of a warning shot from the financial system that things have gotten very tricky. And again, I do look at it as a break at this point. If he continues to tighten, it's only going to get worse. I mean, we had Goldman, JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo bailing out FRC with $30 billion, and the stock's still tanking even after that. And you're still seeing PacWest drop and on Friday and stuff. So I mean, the question is too, is the crisis even over? Is there risk of contagion? I think that's got to be the big question. Could this deteriorate further out of control if the Fed keeps hiking rates? If you're the Federal Reserve, you should have your finger on the pulse of the banking system, right? That's kind of your job. And so the question is did they see this coming, or were they blindsided by this? I mean, it certainly seems like they weren't really ahead of this issue. And so to me, it's another issue of does the Fed really know what the heck they're doing? I mean, they said transitory. It wasn't transitory. They jacked rates up to try to, curtail inflation really quickly. Did they not see that this was going to have some consequences behind it?
Taking what the Federal Reserve is doing and what's happening to the banks into consideration, those may be some of the reasons why money is flowing into Bitcoin. Ethereum is also benefiting from the uncertainty, but these are the winners this time, not crypto in general, as most altcoins are still going lower or not being able to create higher highs. Let's see what Gareth has to say about this.
Not only has money now rotated over the last few days into the Nasdaq, but also crypto. I mean, not so much the altcoins, but Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is like their first test case in a long, long time, right? Their first banking crisis since the inception of Bitcoin. And you've absolutely seen a huge amount of money roll over into cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that's fascinating. You think about the reasoning behind the creation of Bitcoin. And here we are. I mean, this is just one of those use cases for it. And I think it adds credence. I'm still not in the camp where I think that necessarily the lows are all the way in on Bitcoin or Ethereum, but you can't deny that this just strengthens the case long term for why we need Bitcoin. I mean, that's part of my issue with why I just can't see that the markets have fully bottomed, because you still see so much speculation in the market. I mean, people are just itching for 2021 all over again, like a drug addict, they're scratching at their skin. So yeah, I do think that it's at this point where, like, investors got to still be very wary, right? The Fed isn't going to, number one, the Fed's not going to just go to cutting rates, right? They're not going to, you're not going to see this all of a sudden, this massive pivot where interest rates miraculously go back to 1% on the Fed funds. I mean, it's just not going to happen in a long period of time. Now, are they going to finally pause? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe drop rates by 2024 a tiny bit, but I just do not see them dropping rates all the way back down. And if they have to do that, the economic situation is going to be ridiculously horrible for them to do that in. Yeah, so I think that it's partial, right? So you have the Fed potentially, instead of a 50 basis point, which prior to last weekend we were kind of thinking about, now all of a sudden 0 or 25, and obviously most likely a pause after that. And then also, I think that there was this massive amount of money that flowed from bank stocks and the markets into Bitcoin, which helped push it up like we see it on the chart in front of us. And so I think it's a combination of that. I do think that once the banking situation calms down, you do see some of that money come out of crypto in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it certainly was part of that. And we saw it in gold, right? I mean, gold has had a massive run up as well. And if we think about it logically, just, the Fed going to 25 or to 0, it's not like they're dropping rates, so it doesn't necessarily tell us that gold should be ripping north of its all-time highs, but we are getting pretty close because of some of the money flow, the people taking kind of a protective measure here in these assets.
So according to Gareth, markets have not yet bottomed out, but what can we expect next in the short term?
Yeah, so short term, it's looking likely that we could retest this 28,500 area right here, which again, interestingly enough, it was your lowest point from 2021's midpoint of that cycle, that bull cycle. And it's also this low of the consolidation right here. So that's my short-term resistance right around 28.5, 28.6. If we can pierce that, then we go right to that even number of 30,000, which was right above it right here. So I'm in the camp where if we get there in the next few days, let's say by Tuesday or so, I will be actually looking to short Bitcoin at that point, considering how extended the short-term move is here. Also considering that I do expect some of the money flow that's gone from bank stocks into crypto probably does reverse back out. And remember that, in a short-term amount, people are hiding in Bitcoin, right? It's I don't trust being in the banks. I don't trust my deposits in banks maybe, but there's also a lack of trust in crypto where you don't know the regulation yet. You don't know all these different things. So you could have this yank of liquidity or money flow back and forth in these two asset classes. So it is an interesting thing to watch, but either way, I do believe that we'll pull back if we hit that 28.5 or 30,000 level.
It looks like the 30,000 price target will be the make it or break it level for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin doesn't break it, Gareth is going to take a short position there, and this is why.
I'm still in the camp, as of now, Bitcoin, and again, this might sound crazy to some people, but I'm still not in the camp that we've put in a low. I don't have the factors in place on a chart that tell me that the low is in for this entire cycle. And the main reason for that too is if you zoom out on the chart, right? If we look at this bigger picture, this again is a nice bounce. It's a fantastic percentage-wise bounce off the lows. But again, we haven't even recaptured this area here. And this is kind of my line in the sand, this 30,000, 30,500 level. So as long as we stay below that, I'm in the camp that we still can roll over. We can still maybe make new lows. I don't think, for me, it's not so much that Bitcoin is going to have another FTX scenario necessarily. It's more to me that I do believe the traditional markets are going to have a major drop. And if that happens, I'm still in the camp that Bitcoin is going to struggle as it will spread. The kind of the panic and the fear will spread across all asset classes. Maybe not so much gold, but even gold could see some selling.
Traders are enjoying the volatility now, buying and selling to profit from all of this. But remember that Gareth is a swing trader and his positions are changing according to what he sees in the charts. So this is what he's doing.
Right now, it's been a trader's market. I think last weekend or last Friday, I was going long Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, I was long a Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I rode them up. I sold most of those kind of midway to 3/4 of the way up, kind of towards this upper trend line. I've now started a small short position in Ethereum, but it's only 2% of my portfolio. So it's kind of just dipping the toe in the water. But if we do get up into this range, then for sure I'll be looking to add to those and start accumulating a bigger short position. Now, remember, for everyone watching, it's not like I'm going to hold that short position till 9,000, right? It's, for me, it's short-term trading. So if we were to come back into this level here, I'm out. Take my profits on the shorts. I might even go long at that point. So it's a trader's market right now. When you get these type of ups and down moves, it's actually really, really good trading environment.
Finally, let's have a look at Ethereum and if there are opportunities there as well.
Yeah, Ethereum's super interesting because we have this channel and you still have it. You're right at that upper level, right in here, and you're still kind of bubbling up against resistance. So that's one of the reasons why I started a little short position here in Ethereum, is just the fact that it's still struggling to get through this area of resistance right here. Now, if it does get through, you're going to head to $2,000. 2,000 was your highest pivot since it put in the low. So back in June, when it made a low of around just under 900, it had that monster rally to about 2,000. That would be your short-term resistance level on the charts. And again, that would be a level where I would add to my short at this stage.
Yeah.
And it has been amazing. I mean, because if you look at the charts of Ethereum and Bitcoin, and this is, I don't know if we'll see an alt rally where like sometimes that does happen where it's kind of the second leg of the move is the alts. But I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum have just blown the alts away. And you look at like Ethereum trading at a short-term high, basically the highest point since, going back to August of 2022. And then you also look at Bitcoin here and same thing, highest. In fact, it's the highest point going all the way back to June of 2022. But then you look at something like Solana, and Solana's had a bounce, but it's not even close to the recent high yet. Same thing with Matic. Look at Matic, not even close to the high. And what that tells me is that, again, people are looking for a safe haven. It's a safe haven move. It's not a cryptocurrency move.
What do you think? Can Bitcoin finally close above the 30,000 level and change Gareth's narrative? Is it time to go long? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more curated daily crypto content like this, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks.